It is the duty of every parent to teach their children the elementary rules of behavior in this world. The birds will not let their chick out of the nest until it is strong enough to take off on its own. Predators teach their babies to hunt, and only when the baby has fully mastered all the hunting skills, parents can let it go to be on their own. All animals teach their offspring the rules of survival, and the whole basis of procreation rests on this. Why do people so often neglect these rules? Perhaps they think that children should already understand what can and cannot be done, or maybe they think that no trouble will ever happen to them, so there is no need to fill the children's head with unnecessary information. Often, a child's ignorance of possible consequences can lead to very disastrous results. It happened near Lake Ontario, which is located on the US-Canada border. A young family with their 10-year-old son decided to spend a day in nature. Taking with them a tent and everything necessary to camp, they went to the shore of the lake. It was still early when the parents set up camp. They pitched the tent away from the coast in the shade of small trees. Afterwards, everyone went their own way to explore their surroundings. The father took out his tackle for fishing and began to fish. The mother, having changed into a bathing suit, decided to sunbathe in the morning sun before it got too hot. And only their little son was unsure what to do. At first, he wandered around near the tent, then he sat down on the shore and began to collect beautiful pebbles, and before long, his parents were so consumed in their own activities that they began to stop paying attention to his whereabouts. A couple of hours passed, then the father, having caught another big fish, suddenly realized that he had not seen their son for a long time. He asked his wife where their son was, but it turned out she also completely forgot about him and peacefully dozed on a towel spread on the shore. The father called his son's name, and the mother jumped to her feet to run around in search of her child. He was nowhere to be seen. Panic gripped both parents. They thought only about one thing. There was water nearby. Did he go into the water without asking, and the unthinkable happen? At that moment, their son popped his head out of the tent to let them know he was okay, then quickly went back inside. Having calmed down because now they knew where he was, the parents returned to what they had been doing, not even curious about how he was keeping himself busy in the tent. After only a couple of minutes, branches cracked in the bushes behind the tent, and there was a loud grunt. The woman jumped up and, to her great terror, saw a huge grizzly bear sniffing the tent from all sides. The parents realized that now they could not help their little son in any way. They could only stand and watch in complete panic what would happen next. And then it got even worse. The bear stood up on her hind legs and began to touch the tent with her front paws. She seemed to be trying to open it, as if she was looking for something there. The woman thought that the bear had smelled their little boy and decided to hunt him. She was sure that the bear was after him. Right at that moment, the zipper of the tent began to open from the inside, and a small black nose poked out. That was certainly not her son. A moment later, a small bear cub crawled out of the tent. He slowly approached his mother and buried his nose into her. The mother bear perked up and began to lick him with her tongue. All this time, she did not pay any attention to the people standing nearby, but only now did she fix her gaze directly on them. "This is the end," whispered the stricken wife. "Now she will attack us for hiding her baby." But more than anything, the poor woman was worried about her son, who was in the tent just a step away from the huge bear. The woman knew perfectly well how dangerous a bear is, protecting her offspring. The two mothers stared at each other for a long time before the she-bear took her cub in her teeth and slowly walked with him in the opposite direction. After she had gone a good distance away, the father and mother rushed to the tent where their frightened son was sitting. He could not utter a word. He was speechless from fear. It turned out that while playing behind the tent, the child discovered a small, fluffy bear cub. Without thinking what danger this would put him in, the boy took the cub in his arms and hid with him in the tent. There, he fed him cookies and played with his new friend. The mother bear, who had been looking for her baby for a long time, finally found him by smell, sniffing the tent from all sides. Why the bear did not attack, protecting her baby, remains unknown. Perhaps she realized that he was not in any danger, but still it could have ended very sadly. The boy could not speak for several more weeks due to the distress. All this could have been avoided if the parents had explained to him that wild animals should not be allowed too close, and even more so their cubs, because the mother will always be nearby and will fiercely protect her baby. And most importantly, the parents should not have let their young son out of their sight in the first place. The shore of the lake, although a pleasant place for a family holiday, is still very dangerous. Therefore, friends, if you decide to go outdoors with the whole family, first explain to your children the rules of behavior in such places and never lose sight of them, but rather come up with activities in which all members of the family can be involved. Be healthy and be happy.